So we're playing the Scandinavian defence. We're attacking his e-pawn. I protected it. What did he do that for? That wasn't very nice. This is a good blitz idea. You play h4, you play bishop g5, you play pawn there, so you protect your pawn, and then you do other little things like, I don't know, knight here. And the whole idea is you just want to put your knight up there and say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Right? So then he'll cry. That's what they usually do. They'll cry. You'll cry. I don't like to see grown men crying, but, you know, I bet you he plays h3. You watch, he's going to play h3. No, he didn't. You know why he didn't do that? I'll tell you why. He wanted to lose his queen. Or take that off. Oh, look at this one. I'll take his knight. I'm on his bishop, threatening his bishop. My castle is attacking his queen. Woo, woo, woo! Queen alert, queen alert. Now, do you take the bishop or do you take the queen? Which one's biggest? We take the whole bloody lot. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take the whole lot. Oh, look at this. He gave me a check. The dirty dog. Just when I was about to have some fun, pinch a few pieces. What does he do? He spoils me fun. Spoils me fun, he does. What's he doing there? Is he threatening something? Oh, there's a check. Woo, woo, woo. There he goes. That'll teach him to beat me. I'm going to play Knarfis. My mate Knarfis from the United States. Mighty Knarfis. I'll tell you what, here's another one. Here's another one. Just like Matisticus, Knarfis is a secret chess player. A secret one. He belongs to one of those secret societies, right? Okay? I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. But I think Knarfis belongs to some sort of secret chess society, right? I think it's the Lost Pawns. He belongs to the Lost Pawns or something like that. He's lost so many pawns, they approached him and they said, oh, would you like to join the Lost Pawns Society, Knarfis? And he said, oh, that sounds good. He said, do we drink blood? They said, no, you just lose your chess pawns. And he says, oh. So I'm just throwing the knight down there. I'm shaking the table. I'm shaking the screen. I'm shaking myself. No, that's Teddy. That's that naughty little Teddy. Look, he's attacking the knight. I'll take that off. Have you noticed anything about this position, right? Jokes aside, what do you notice about this position? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to play pawn here, right? Okay? Now, I'll tell you something. You've got to notice certain things about the position, okay? And what it is in this position, what did I do last move? What did I do? Come on, tell me. Tell me, what did I do? What did I do last move? Come on. What did I do? What did I do? Well, I threatened to win the queen, didn't I? That's what I did. That is what I did. I threatened to trap his queen. And he didn't see it. Boom, boom, boom. Knarfis, my buddy, my mate. My brother. I feel so guilty. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. I feel so terribly, terribly guilty. No, I don't. No, I don't. Teddy, do I feel guilty? I stole Knarfis's queen. Should I feel guilty, Ted? No. Teddy says he's a Grandmaster. He says, no, just rip it off. Isn't that right, Ted? He's good. He's good. I don't need a cuddle this morning. I only get a cuddle from Teddy if I lose a game. Gives me a little cuddle, makes me feel better. I'll take that pawn off towards the centre. Only because the Grandmasters tell me. Grandmaster Big D Games, he's told me, he said, you always take towards the centre. I'd like to thank Knarfis this morning for his generosity in gifting a tier 1 sub to Illusion. It's the first gift sub in the channel, right? It's really nice of him. What a great guy. And he's fighting. Knarfis is fighting. He fights to the last pawn, our Knarfis. He's been watching my videos where I pulled a rabbit out of the hat. So, oh, you wouldn't believe it. Don't tell me. I hear sound over there. Not another bird down the chimney. Occasionally. No, it's not. It's a garbage truck. I thought another bird got stuck in the chimney. No, it's just the garbage truck. Yeah, the birds come down. There's a little at the top of the chimney of the house. The birds nest sometimes, right? Right on top of the chimney. And sometimes they go in through the floor and they come down the chute. They end up in the fireplace. So I'm going to open the door to the fireplace. Look at these birds flying around the house. The birds, they're going mad. It's like something out of Alfred Hitchcock. You know Alfred Hitchcock's movie, don't you? It's called The Birds. The Birds. Well, I'll take the knight. Why do I take the knight? Because I want to pinch a pawn. I've got to take the pawn. Oh no, my queen! I lost something, but it's okay. I'm glad I can afford it. I'm a rich man. I can afford it. Oh, look at this. I'll take that too. Must take that. Otherwise, he'd move the bishop back and checkmate can't be stopped, right? Okay. So I didn't take the bishop. He'd move the bishop back and checkmate cannot be stopped. You've got to see these things and understand them. Very important in chess. I was just lucky that I had so much material earlier on that I could just do as I wanted in the position. I can play rook hits bishop. And that gives me time, precious time while he's defending to get my other castle in and to penetrate his position down there. Right? Okay. Right. Well, I'll just play, well, rook here is even better. That's an even stronger move, isn't it? Okay, because now he can't do much. Okay, all right then. We'll double the rooks. And what does that threaten anything? Hello? Does it threaten anything? What does it threaten? Ah, Knarfis, the mighty Knarfis. You should play a 10-minute game, then we can have a proper chess lesson. I want to help Knarfis improve his chess game. I'm not here to just beat you, Knarfis. I would like to help you play proper chess. So I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. And I'm going to explain to Knarfis a few things. Knight takes pawn. Now, positions are equal. It's a book position. E6 is one line. That's one line. Another line would be D6. And, yeah. I suppose you could play that. But that's the best, probably the best move. I can now play what's called, in this position, This is why they normally don't play this move straight away. They normally play knight here first to attack the pawn, right? That would attack the pawn, make me defend it, instead of playing this move, right? Because now, with the knight not here, I don't have to play knight here. What I can do is I can actually play this move. And this is called the Maroczy bind, okay? The Maroczy bind. It was named after a Hungarian Grandmaster, Geza Maroczy, who was worshipped in the Hungarian Chess Club in Sydney, George Street, Sydney, in the 1970s. They used to have a special Hungarian chess club, and up the road there used to be a little coffee shop, and a little Hungarian there, oh no, he wasn't little, he was a big fat fella, but he used to cook a really good Hungarian goulash. That's right, Hungarian goulash. Anyway, the beauty of having the pawn on c4 is that you can connect the two pawns, right, and play knight here, and you've got this bind on the central squares, and that's what it's all about. And black can play on the black squares. Well, bishop here is normal. It's just a developing move and protects the knight with the idea of pawn here and other such stuff. But we're going to play queen here first. I'm going to get the queen up one square. We almost have a typical Maroczy bind position. It's very interesting. Black has played quite well. He's targeting the central pawn structure. Okay. Now, I can play bishop e2 here. This move is not good. It's not good. Yeah, bishop g7, good move. Well played, Knarfis. And now I've got a choice of castling queenside or kingside. I castle queenside, he might sacrifice a pawn and get some play. So I'm going to castle kingside, okay? So I'm electing to castle kingside. And the whole idea is, I can see he wants to play knight here, okay? So I'm going to, and knight there, he would be attacking the pawn twice, right? The e pawn. So I'm going to just protect the pawn. So I'm protecting my e pawn before he even attacks it. So I'm looking at things that he can do to attack me, and I'm answering them before he even gets them into play. So that way I've got my white one move ahead. I have my spatial advantage with the great Maroczy bind, the Geza Maroczy bind. And I'm looking at playing rook to c1 and rook to d1 to just put pressure on the position. Okay, I can expand somewhat in this position with b4. It's a possibility. And it's a good possibility, but I'm not sure what it achieves. I do like rook to c1. Okay, rook on the a file to c1, and that offers a few options for me later on. So now I can play rook on the f file to d1, and this is a standard type of Maroczy bind position. This is the classical Maroczy bind position. The engine saying on the it's saying it's Sicilian defence, the O'Kelly normal variation. I don't know which O'Kelly that was, whether that was Marcus or some other O'Kelly that we've never heard of before. But big question here is this is an interesting move. By the way, this is a move that I've got to answer. He's taking it to me. I can play knight here. I can play knight there. So I'm threatening the d pawn. But this is very, very brave stuff that he's doing. Oh, stupid. No, it's true. It's either brave or stupid, or bold, like in the Three Musketeers, you know, the Three Musketeers. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it all pans out. But I think I should play it quietly. Don't like to play it quietly. I'll play pawn here. I'll play b3. It's still a Maroczy bind situation. Okay, interesting move. What if I attack his pawn? What would he do then? Just attack his pawn. So I'm just threatening his D pawn. Knarfis's D pawn. Knarfis is playing really well. Put your hands together for Knarfis. He's playing really good chess. Okay, so I can now pin his knight against his queen. Oh, chess is a tough game, isn't it? He's going there. I can play knight here. Right. Oh, look at that. He attacks my bishop. Good move, good move. No, bishop here was better. Bishop there, okay? This is the losing move because of the knight check. Examine all checks and captures. Right. My friend Knarfis, you played so well. It's not easy to play somebody that's got so much experience. So I'd like to congratulate you on playing very good chess. You only made a blunder, right, and just got checkmated in the middle of the board. But other than that, the game was good. Now, I really think this is a really great game that Knarfis has played. G'day, Spazza. Knarfis, I think we should analyse your game for you because you can learn a lot from this position. And I'm talking about going into the chess engine analysis room. Do you want to do that? I think it's a really good game to give both yourself as a beginner under 1,000 rating and other players an option of all the good moves that you could have played in that position. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to go into the analysis room because Knarfis played really good chess. This is going to be shown in his analysis room report card, right? Okay, Knarfis, so we're serious about this. I'm going to turn the music. Be patient with me. I'm just going to turn the music stop because I really. Oh, I said stop. What happened? Stop. Right. Okay. Now what I want to do is because I want your attention here because we can all learn something from Knarfis's game. He played very well. You will see this. Okay. So C5, a book move. Knight F3. That's a book move. And the engine's saying it's the O'Kelly normal system. So it's all normal. A6, star. It's a book move. It's a star move. It's the best move. One of the best moves. So it's a slower system. D4, and that's the standard sort of move. okay, to just take the centre while black's playing for some for a semi-open file and to try to gain some black squares. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Okay, knight takes pawn, book move, so we're still in book move territory. Knarfis, 853 rating. You've got to give it to him. This guy he's got potential to improve a lot. He's got to eliminate blunders from his game. But if he eliminates blunders, he will power on past 1,000 rating. He'll power on to 1,200 easy, right? Because he did some really good things. He's telling me by some of the moves that he played that he's starting to get a grasp, an understanding of what chess is all about. So he played d6 is good, and the engine suggested knight to f6 was a better move. Okay, all right then. Now I'm going to show you about knight to f6. We discussed this in the game. If knight to f6, if you were worried about me pushing the pawn and chasing the knight back, well, you needn't have worried because queen checks wins the pawn. And it wins it with check. Can you see that, Knarfis? Now, one of the moves is very important, okay, and black's got a one game then, okay. So one of the moves, it's important in chess, right, is to develop your knights before your bishops. And that's why in this position, when you played d6, knight move was the better move. It was the best move, star move, right? And d6 and knight f6 are a big... I know that's a hard move to find in the game, but it's only like examining all checks, right? So if the pawn goes forward, you look at all the checks, you see you've only got one check and it wins a pawn, right? So it's not that hard. And this is a theme I want you to remember, because this setup of knight there hits the pawn can't go forward because of the queen check. It's common in chess. So I want you all to lock that into your brains, right? Lock it in, okay? Lock it in. Because this pattern, this chess pattern, and Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura, amongst all the other top senior grandmasters, they will all tell you chess is about pattern recognition. If you have pattern recognition and you remember this theme here, right, it's a weapon in your mental arsenal, okay? So that when you come up against other players that haven't got that pattern recognition, they haven't been trained like I'm training you right now, then you have an advantage. You have a decided advantage on your on the way you think, right? The way you chess think, okay? And it's all about planning ahead. And this is if you're in business. If you're in business and you're running a small pizza shop or something like that, you've got to have pattern recognition. If you see a trend, more people are buying pizzas in suburb postcode 2560, for instance. Well, don't you think that when you get your letter drop in their post office boxes that advertising your pizzas, you do more, you make sure that you pummel that area more because you're going to sell more pizzas, aren't you, right? So, yeah, chess is life and life is chess. A lot of chess lessons that you can apply to life. And now because you didn't play knight to f6 and you played d6, now you've allowed the Maroczy bind. And now you can see knight to f6 would have stopped the Maroczy bind. Now, a lot of strong grandmasters, they avoid the Maroczy bind like the plague. If you can get a Maroczy bind on your opponent, you can just squeeze them to death slowly like the old boa constrictor. Wrap your arms around them and twist them into little knots. Because you know why? You've got spatial advantage. The grandmasters will always tell you, spatial advantage with little risk, little or minimal or no risk, is a fantastic advantage to have in chess. Okay. All right then. So b6 is played. You can see that what Knarfis is having to do now, he's having to counter punch, right? He's having to counter punch behind the lines. Notice he's counter punching behind these 3 lines. Okay. His pieces are his army is restricted to those 3 lines. So if I was Napoleon Bonaparte and I've got this fantastic war machine, and the British have got a war machine there, and the British are black and I'm white and I'm Napoleon, you would say, well, hold on, I hold the high ground. So in battle, in real battle, like holding a key position like this, you've got the upper ground, right? It's like being on top of the hill, and the other poor little soldiers are all going to come in to get you, and you just mow them down from the top of the hill, right? Okay, so it's very, very similar. Knight c3. So now we've developed the piece, and we've already told it's a star move. It's the very best move on the board. Knights before bishops when you develop. And as I mentioned during the game, I said, well, that controls those squares, and so it does. That's why the engine awards it a star move. Knarfis, put your hands together for Knarfis, will you? He plays a star move. He's got a difficult position to play, and he plays a star move, the best move on the board, the very best. And in this particular occasion, he doesn't play knight to f6, which is the natural move according to the chess rules. You know, develop your knights before your bishops, right? But he actually plays the very, very best move. Okay, so well played, Knarfis. But you can see the bar on the white, on the side of the board is giving white an advantage, and it's all because of this damn Maroczy bind. So poor old Knarfis, he's walked into this terrible bind. It's very hard to get out of. G6, excellent move by Knarfis. It says knight d7 is best, but g6, played by Knarfis, this move here, ready to finish out of the bishop, that's the very next best move to knight to d7. So Knarfis has almost played the best move on the board a second time in a row. So I played queen to d2, star move, best move. One of the reasons I played queen to d2 is I pattern recognition again. I know from all my previous games, and having played through Maroczy bind positions in my chess lifetime of a million chess games or whatever it is, I know that in this position automatically queen to d2 is played. I also know that in the same-ish variation, right, in the same-ish, where you get the same-ish set up against the king side and your castle queen side with your bishop to c4 and, oops, that's not a bishop on c4, bishop c4 and bishop b3, this pawn's back here, and then you just castle over here and you launch an attack in the same-ish. Well, again, you played queen to d2 in that same-ish. So that's that pattern recognition that you're learning here today. This is a very valuable chess lesson I'm giving you. You can thank my friend Knarfis for this, right? He plays h6. It's a good move. Rating plus 1.33. Knight to f6 was the best. So there's a problem with h6. Knarfis didn't like the idea of me possibly coming down here after he plays knight to f6 and changing my bishop for his bishop. Well, guess what? In this position, if he played knight to f6, I'm not going to play bishop here. I'm not going to give away my good bishop for his bad bishop. Why would his bishop be a bad bishop? Ask me that question. John, why would his black bishop be a bad bishop? The endgame. Yes, even as early as this, we're determining the endgame. How do you say that, John? The pieces are hardly even out of their original positions. Well, I'll tell you. Again, looking at the bishop, the black bishop, the pawns, he played h6. Oops, that's not right. he's played h6. Now, what's happened is the pawn goes to a black square. That's a square a bishop can't move to. This pawn here, a square a bishop can't move to. That pawn there, a square the bishop can't move to. So in an endgame, I would rather not have this bishop because my pawns are on white squares and my white bishop is actually limited in mobility, right, because my pawns are on my white squares. My most powerful piece is this bishop. So that's why I would not play bishop to h6 if he played knight to f6, okay? So knight to f6, that's why the engine is saying it's the best move, because the engine can see 15, 20 moves ahead, and it knows that if you play bishop to h6, you achieve bugger all, right? So bishop to e2. I just develop a piece, and now I've got my structure ready to castle. Kingside or queenside, I've got a choice where I want to castle. Engine says I could play f3. I knew that, right? But the difference is bishop e2 is plus 1.26, right? f3 is plus 1.33. So that both moves are virtually the best move. And I'm going to play f3 anyway, so I know that. I knew f3 was the best move. But I just thought, oh no, I'll just do it this order. Doesn't matter which order you do it in because you're still going to play both those moves, right? All right then. Can I prove that to you? Can I prove that to you? I'll try to prove it to you now. Okay, so I'm going to play pawn here, okay? And I'm going to play the natural move, say bishop g7 here, right? Is that a star move? Star move, right? Okay. Now, watch this. Bishop here. Best move. Now can you see where I'm coming from? In other words, I've proven to you that, in this position here, after that move, even though the engine says bishop e2 is not the best move, it is the best move because it doesn't matter whether you play bishop e2 or f3, you're still going to make those two consequential moves, and so both moves are star moves, okay? Right, I'm glad you agree on that point, and if you don't, well, go back and rethink it. So bishop e2, bishop g7, star move. And again, I'm going to point out how well Knarfis is playing, okay? Considering, again, he moved into the Maroczy bind. And I know that I repeat myself, but I think it's important to drum the message in because this is a chess lesson for you guys. I'm trying to train you to be better chess players, to enjoy your chess that much more, okay? So castle, star move. Rook to d1 was an alternative. Okay, knight to d7, star move. Knarfis has done it again. Can you see the high level of play that Knarfis has achieved here? Right, he's got about 4 or 5 best moves in a row. f3, as we said, knight to f6, star move, best move, Knarfis. He's developed his last and final minor piece. So Knarfis is playing really well. Rook c1, star move, best move. So the accuracy of this game to this point in time is really high. It's right up in the high percentiles. And I can thank Knarfis for giving me the opportunity to show you. So that's why I recognise straight away Rook c8. Excellent move. Only 0.23 difference from the best move, which was h5. Okay, and now you can see where I pointed out h6 was a bad move, right? Because really from here, the pawn should go to h5, and what he's done is he's gone here, then here, right? Okay, that was the best move. Yeah, that's the way to play the defense, to stop the bishop going to h6 and to eliminate the idea of g4, g5, okay? Right, can we see that? And the king is very safe at the moment in the centre of the board, Okay. So I played rook to f-file to d1, star move, best move. And I remember that move from pattern recognition. That's all. Okay? It's faulty to try to play f4 and stuff because the attack's already got 2 pieces on the e-pawn. And if I plan to play f4, I won't be able to get a break because knight here will simply attack that 3 times, right? It'll be knight there. Oops. It'll be knight here attacks the pawn. Knight here attacks the pawn. And bishop there attacks the pawn. Three pieces on the e-pawn. So don't worry about the e-pawn. I'm more concerned about occupying the d5 square or building up on the queen side with b4, b5 maybe even b4, a4, a5. We just play it by ear and see what happens. Engine says this is an inaccuracy and h5 is best. Reason being, you say, well, as soon as my eyes lit up, as soon as he did that, because I thought, aha, whoopee-doos, target, right? Isolated backward d-pawn, that's right. And when the pawn's here in this position, that's a strong pawn formation, right? But by pushing the pawn 1 square, you weaken the d-pawn. So then white's plans should all revolve around attacking the d-pawn. So I played knight c2. Engine didn't like that. It liked b4. I considered b4, but frankly I was a bit scared to do it. I didn't want to overcommit. I thought I could do that later, so why do I have to do that now? And that's one of the benefits of having a Maroczy bind. You've got such a big bind on the position, you can take your time with your plans, and it's almost impossible for your opponent to threaten you. Again, I'll point it all out. Not one black piece or pawn is going past the first 3 ranks. So it's impossible for him to attack me. Right? The only possible attacking move would be d5, right? But it's not really playable at this stage. But that's the only move I have to watch out for. Right? There are no other moves because his position's so constricted. Okay? So he played bishop to f8. Now, I'm telling you, that is the mark. This move here is the mark of an international master or a grandmaster. Right? It's a real engine move. And I wonder, Knarfis, were you using a chess engine? No, he wasn't. He wasn't using a chess engine. He just played good chess. And he played bishop f8. Hold on 1 second, Knarfis. I'll salam you this time. That is a super move, buddy. That's a super move. So he's actually protecting the pawn the best way possible. So I played pawn there. I know that if I thought, well, I'll just hold everything and see what he does because his position's constricted. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if he doesn't do anything, I might play b4 later. I've got all the time in the world. You do not have to rush the attack. If you've got spatial advantage, there are no threats to your position, and you just want to keep building your position and making incremental improvements, okay? It's like trying to build the Sistine Chapel. It wasn't done overnight. It took decades of planning and hard work to create the masterpiece. Okay, h5 is played. Oh, and the engine was saying earlier to play that move. It's an excellent move. And the engine says excellent, but it's plus 1.50, and g5, which is the best move, was plus 1.23. So we'll look at the position here. This is the best move, apparently, and you'd be fighting on the black squares. I think the idea is to prevent f4, but I don't believe f4 is ever a threat, so I actually prefer Knarfis move, okay, over the engine's move. So I played bishop f4, star move, simply threatens bishop takes pawn, okay, it simply threatens bishop takes pawn. and he played e5. Well, his best move was to play knight to e5. Now, if he played his knight to e5, well, I can't take his knight. If I took his knight, I can change queens, rook, queen takes queen, rook takes, king takes, but all his pawns would be on the good squares, and there'd be no penetration areas for me, right? Okay, so yeah. So what did he do? He went bishop there. He played pawn there, right? So I was happy with that, because once he makes that pawn move, he moving the pawn from here to here. See, that pawn was doing a great job stopping my knight penetrating, right? Knight penetration was, you'll remember, eventually I checked him with a knight here and won his queen. So this is a key square, an entry square for my two knights. So when he played pawn there, I thought, this knight is defending this square with the bishop. So I thought, well, I'll just pin his knight, okay? Engine says I should actually go back. All right, okay. Okay, so the engine says I should go back. Well, I played bishop here, and I wasn't really impressed with my move. I thought, like in this position, maybe he's got queen c7. Let's see what the engine thinks. Let's look at what he does, and let's see what the engine thinks. I played queen c7. He played my move, and the engine said, no, play bishop b7. So you played my move, but bishop e7 was better. So my move's not too bad. So I played knight there, star move. And my plan is to play giddy up and push the knight straight into the middle of the board. And Knarfis plays knight a7. He spoils the party for me. But I can play knight to d5 here, and I probably should. Right, so this knight should attack that queen. Right, that's probably the best move. Now, he can't take the bishop if his queen's attacked. Right, and if he checks, well, the bishop would just move back, right, and attack the queen then, if he checked. So let's have a look at this. Bishop there I played. Well, knight there was the correct move. See, I told you. I see it now. Not because the engine told me, I actually see it now. Anyway, bishop there, and I thought, hello, blunder. Bishop h6 was the best move, right? And then I would have had to have played bishop here. And then that would take full advantage. So all Knarfis had to do, go back. All Knarfis had to do in this position was to play bishop here. And if he plays that move, let's look at the bar on the side of the board after that move. Oh, white's still winning, it says. Bloody hard, a lot harder. The work's harder though. The work's harder. I can play bishop here and hold the knight. Yeah, so white's still winning. It's because of the spatial advantage, and again, this bind on d5. Okay, but unfortunately, we can see what's happened. He played this blunder, and that's the mistake, and it's a terrible mistake. And after king takes, well, the knight checks. And that's the end of the game, isn't it, eh? Well, we know that. We don't want to look at too much more. But let's go and have a look at Knarfis' report card. Now, the engine was with the report card was very, very harsh on Knarfis at 21.7%. Now, what I would like to say is if we went back to this position up to this point in time, again, we went back to this position, right, this position to this point in time, and even including Knarfis' mistake, and here, Knarfis would score about 60 odd percent, 65, 62, 63%, because he made so many star moves. So the engines punished him severely with his report card because of the blunder near the end, right? And I think it's a bit harsh considering he found so many near perfect moves in his game. So I would rate Knarfis's play up to this point in time and maybe just a little bit further as around about playing at a level of about 11 or 1200. So say 1200, nearly 350 rating points higher. So that shows that if he doesn't get in the bind and he still plays the good moves, Knarfis's rating has got to go over 1,000. It's got to go over 1,100. So he's doing the right thing. He's in the right channel. He's getting chess lessons from a FIDE master, right? Okay, so he's on the road to success, right? Chess success. He's on the road. We just don't know how far he can go. We don't know what his limits are. But he's certainly on the right track, okay? Anyway, thank you very much for that. But that was a great game to present as a chess lesson, right, for beginners. A very good game for beginners to try to understand openings, the power of the Maroczy bind. You learnt about Geza Maroczy and how he was revered by the Hungarian chess playing community. And you also learnt how you really don't want to get trapped against the Maroczy bind unless you know how to play against it. In the Bobby Fischer match against Boris Spassky, my memory is going back, my pattern recognition, and if I remember correctly, Boris Spassky might have got into a Maroczy bind of a sort in one of the games and played a key breakthrough move B5, right, with perfect precision play. So if you want to analyse a game by two super grandmasters, you'd have to go and look up that game, try to find that game, okay? Knarfis says he's going to play chess to the moon. Anyway, there we go. He's playing to the moon. Oh! Blitz versus Statisticus? He doesn't want to play me, does he? No, he's probably gone to work on his channel, on his music. Random. Unless Knarfis wants another game. Knarfis, come on. Do you want to play one more game? Or if you have a rest, it's probably best to let all that analysis sink in. Okay, we'll play one more game. What about a 10-minute relaxing game for you? Because I don't want you to be overawed and pressured the 5-minute game. I think a 10-minute game would suit you better. And I think, okay, I'm going to change it to a 10-minute game. Oh, wrong person. Oh, damn. I want to play Knarfis. I've got to go back. Can't find Knarfis. Oh, there he is, Knarfis. Okay. Okay, changing Knarfis to a 10-minute game. I think it's very important that he relax in his chess and not get pressured, because you need to be able to slow down a bit, Knarfis, to actually improve your game. I want to see you become a stronger player. I want you to come in here and say, the FM John Curtis channel has made me much stronger and I'm now thinking much better. And the other thing too is, you know yourself, you're no fool, you know yourself, you've got to learn to crawl before you can walk and before you can run. So before you start running at 1 minute chess and 3 minute chess and 5 minute chess, you've got to slow down, learn to take your time and to think and construct better with your brain. And then when you can do all that, you can pick up speed, right? And in other words, training, just like a runner would train for a running race in the Olympic Games. You'll see when they're doing all their training, they sort of do light runs and stuff like that. It's all light training before the heavy stuff comes in. That's what you have to do with your chess. Just slow it down a little bit, buddy, because the faster you play against speed players, the more inaccuracy your moves will be. And lightning chess, even the Russians, Russian chess trainers, they used to say, oh, I don't want you to play lightning chess, I want you to concentrate on your game, right? So we must study hard, and then you stay away from this lightning chess business because we're looking for purity and exactitude, right? Purity and exactitude in the game. This is an interesting variation. After knight takes pawn, queen g4 could be very problematic, okay? Very problematic. So what do we play here? Well, we can play a few moves, but what I do like in this position is just to castle. And now I'm threatening knight takes pawn. Right? So I've castled, and now I'm threatening knight takes pawn. Now, I can show you a book trap. Pawn there, yeah. I wish I could show you a book trap. I'll show you after the game, right? I'll show you after the game. Remind me to show you the book trap after the game. Okay. Rightio. So I'm just going to play... well, knight takes knight is a good move, right? It's a good move. Because it gives you double pawns, right? You get double pawns there, right? And now I've got just a lovely game. And your bishop here blocks that pawn and it blocks that bishop. And now you can see that it's a terrible position. Well, I think this is a logical move. This move actually threatens pawn takes pawn because the rook is now on this pawn, and as is the bishop. So it's a very difficult position. Extremely difficult position to play. Even for the most experienced player, this position is very, very hard to play. You could be forced to take the pawn off. Now, this is a losing move. Because that's a losing move. Reason being, I played bishop hits the castle first. So I'm threatening a whole castle. Then doesn't matter what you play, I will then play pawn takes pawn and open up with an attack on your bishop and your f pawn. So now here it comes, boom, right? And now look at this combination. So you can see now that pawn here achieved bugger all, right? It achieved nothing, absolutely nothing, not a cracker. And you virtually, Oh, it's that bad. Position's that bad. Oh, it's a bad game. Gee, it's bad. Now, I've got bishop takes pawn. I've got rook takes pawn. But I've also got queen here. So I'm bringing another piece into play. That's right. Now I'm going to show you something, right? I'm just going to go into analysis room. I want to show you something. I'm going to show you this little trick, right? You've probably seen this before, but this is very important to show you pattern recognition, again, how you can see certain things, right? Now, when he played knight there, I played castles. Now, he played bishop there, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a little something. With the knight there, if he played pawn here, okay, and I played knight here, okay, and he pinned my knight against my queen, can you see what I can do there in that position? This is what could have happened in our game if you played like this, Knarfis. What could I do? What move could I play in this position, Knarfis? I'm asking you a question as part of your chess training. I'm giving you a free chess lesson today, Knarfis, because we recommend you as one of the most gracious chess players and kind people that we know of. So we're asking you, what would you play in this position, Knarfis? After the bishop pins the knight against the queen. Bishop checks. No, Knarfis. Let me show you the move. Oh no, my queen. That's when you say, oh no, my queen. And then the beginner takes the queen, right? The beginners always take the queen, don't they, Knarfis? Then you check him here. And then he comes up here because he's got nowhere to go. And then what do you do then, Knarfis? You give him a big checkmate. And so during our game, Knarfis, I was looking at this variation in our game.